Hi, my name is Josh Bufink, and we're back today with the Discover Fort Smith podcast. I'm with the city of Fort Smith. I'm with my good friend Ashley Backert, who's with the CVB, which is also known as Discover Fort Smith. And we've got an awesome podcast episode lined up for you today as we get to talk to a man who wears many hats, but is ironically not wearing one today. Sam Hanna with KMW Properties, Hanna Oil and Gas, Parks and Recreation Commission. The list goes on and on. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today, Sam.
Thank you for having me. I'm absolutely honored to be on with you guys today.
So tell us, did you grow up in Fort Smith, Arkansas, or?
I grew up in Fort Smith. I was born in Canada.
Oh, really?
And then when I was we moved here. Me and my older brother were born in
So do
Calgary.
you have dual citizenship?
I used to. I lost it when I voted in my first election.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've known you for a few years now. I've never known that. That's awesome. So you moved here when you were 2, and you went to school here?
My family is from here.
Oh, okay.
My mom was from Tulsa. My dad's from Wichita Falls, Texas.
Okay.
But they both grew up in Fort Smith. And there was an opportunity for my dad to move to Calgary to start an arm of our company, Hanna Oil and Gas, there. And he lived there from the late 80s to early 90s with my mom.
Nice.
And then so we moved. I don't remember any of it, but we did spend a lot of summers going up there.
Nice. And so you came here, and which schools did you attend in the area?
I went to Trinity. I went to Southside. I went to Immaculate Conception.
Yeah.
And Good
and
schools.
You're married? You have kids now?
Married.
Yeah.
I've got 2 boys. My wife, Marina, we met in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
And then our boys, Liam and Luca.
I love those names.
Yeah, me too. So you graduated from here, and then you ended up back here somehow. Like, tell us a little bit about that journey to coming back to Fort Smith.
Yeah, it was a long journey. I think it was long. It probably really wasn't that long. But after high school, I could not wait to leave. I was dying to go somewhere else. So luckily, I was accepted to Colorado State University. So I went there. I studied natural resource management and conservation biology. That was my major and minor. After 4 years there, I moved to Texas, where I met my wife. And then by the time I was in Texas, I couldn't wait to get back.
Yeah. Why is that? You were in Austin. Is that what
I was
you
in
said?
Austin.
Okay.
I was loving Austin. It's a great city for anybody who's trying to figure out what they want to do and what kind of person they want to be. Learned a lot. And it kind of came a time where I was just ready to move home. We had some projects going on here that I really wanted to be a part of, the bakery being one. And I saw a good path forward in Fort Smith where I didn't necessarily see a good career path forward in Austin, and decided to make the switch. Nice. Dragged my wife with me.
Right. So were your kids born here, or?
They were both born in Fort Smith, yeah.
Oh, nice.
So what things from Austin, from Colorado, like, are you bringing any of that influence here, or do you really just allow it to stay Fort Smith?
I like to think that in some of the projects we've done in Fort Smith, both my brothers went to school in Colorado as well. They both went to Denver University. It's a much nicer school. Couldn't get in. I wanted to. I'm glad I didn't. I really liked where I ended up and made great friends there. But I think the co-working space and the bakery probably had a lot of sort of outside influence. A lot of the ideas came from different places, but you try to bring, I think when you go somewhere, you need to get pieces of it and bring it with you wherever you go next. And that's what we've tried to do.
So when you came back from Austin, was the bakery district already underway? Were there already plans, or were you pretty involved in all of that?
It had been purchased.
Okay.
And phase 1 was underway. My older brother had been living here for 5 or 6 years already. And we had really a full team of people that the bakery construction project, it was a fun project because we had a lot of people in the room all kind of throwing ideas against the wall to figure out what would stick.
Yeah.
And so you had, phase one, Griffin was there managing the construction. Petrie Construction did phase one of the project and was an incredible group to work with. We didn't really know exactly what we were going to build, but we were going to try to white box the facility to just make it habitable by someone. Fort Smith Coffee Co. Saw what was going on, and thank God for Katie and Gabe. They came over and they helped us feel like we actually had a proof of concept. We thought, well, this could actually be viable. At first it was, let's try not to make this building just, be blight on the city. So we fixed it up and they came in. It was kind of a, if you build it, they will come kind of situation, which doesn't always work.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. So I lived here between 2011 2016, and then I left, and the bakery district wasn't a thing whenever I left.
Yeah.
And I came back in 21, and that was one of the highlights of me coming back. I was like, this is an awesome space. Like, it kind of gave me hope for what downtown could be, as things continue to progress, as people take older buildings or things that are outdated and try to modernize them or make them usable spaces again. So is that something that you kind of see as like a model going forward for other spaces downtown, or?
The building on spec idea, speculating that somebody's going to come in, it's dangerous, it's risky, and it doesn't always work. The bakery is interesting in that it only works because all the people that are there, all the different tenants, they can cohabitate the space and they bring people in. We're there. We don't do really anything for it other than we provided the space. And it's nothing without the people that show up on a day-to-day basis. It's nothing without the people that want to have events there. You guys have done podcasts up at the mill. I mean, it's people like you. It's people like the University of Arkansas, Fort Smith.
Yeah.
Dr. Riley, who saw a vision and said we could have a space there. This could be a campus. And without UFIS, it's the bakery is nothing. Without Diggs, it's nothing. Without all the food truck vendors, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody has to keep showing up. We do nothing. I do nothing. I fixed a door handle yesterday. Make sure the door's open. I went and turned on the fire pit before I came over here.
That's awesome.
That's it. But that's not what's bringing people in the door. It's all the people that are there. And so I think to answer your question, if you can get community buy-in for a concept like that, it could work. But for other buildings downtown, we just need people who are going to buy it with a purpose and not because they want to flip it.
Yeah.
And make a little extra cash. As we're sitting here, I'm looking at the Ward building.
Yeah.
What's that going to be?
Oh yeah, I would love for that to be something.
It needs to be something.
I could be wrong, and people watching the podcast will probably correct me. But I think, is that one of the oldest buildings down? It's probably the tallest. I think it's the tallest.
It's the tallest.
Yeah.
For sure. Probably not the oldest.
Yeah.
The inside of it's beautiful. I got a tour before it was sold, and it's the first floor 1 and 2 are gorgeous. They're awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rest of the building. They've got low ceilings, but I don't know what the guy who bought it, I don't know what he's going to do with it. I hope he's not just going to sit on it and wait for the city to grow and then sell it.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope it becomes something amazing over there. What you mentioned community buy-in. How did you guys get so much buy-in at the bakery district?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm the right person to answer it.
Yeah.
People people wanted to be there. I think people wanted to have a place to go downtown.
Yeah.
Maybe just in general. I don't know if we had a place to go
Yeah.
to, go grab a coffee. And I mean, there's coffee shops, obviously. Sweet Bay has, it's a beautiful coffee shop by the park. It's wonderful. All the other coffee shops in town, the coffee shop that was downtown,
Artistic Bean.
great places to go and sit. But I think there was, a little bit, people wanted more variety. Mm-hmm. They wanted the opportunity to maybe go eat later.
Yeah.
Or maybe we put in a bocce ball court over there and it never really took off.
Yeah.
But maybe go play bocce ball. I don't know.
Turn it into a cornhole court.
It's a big ashtray right now. Yeah. So I was picking up cigarette butts before I came over.
Did you guys get any pushback during that process?
No.
That's good.
The city was help. I mean, it was COVID.
Yeah.
We did that in the middle of COVID. So
that's pretty amazing in itself.
Fort Smith was an interesting place during COVID. Some people you talk to might say they never even heard of it. We tried to figure out, okay, what is a mask policy? How do you stand 6 feet apart? It was weird. Fort Smith was, I'm gonna say, it was somewhat insulated from the rest of the country in the way people reacted to it, good or bad. And having a space, literally a gathering space is what we called it. So, and you weren't supposed to gather. So that was kind of tough to wade through. Making sure our tenants didn't lose their businesses. That was another thing we had to wade through. Rent forgiveness, all these different things, trying to figure out a way to where we could all work together and still make sure we could keep the lights on at the end of the day. Was a challenge, but I think we pulled it off.
Yeah. Yeah, I love walking. I have my team meeting over at the bakery every single week, and I love walking over there and seeing all the different conversations happening.
Yeah,
because it's everything from families getting together to business deals happening to coworkers just grabbing a coffee. It's an interesting place, and I love that. I love that there is that kind of mingling space for people to come to. But there's like several different sections of the bakery district. So there's the coffee, Fort Smith Coffee Co., then there's restaurant, then there's the university, and then you guys
Fort
have
Kids.
Fort Kids. Yeah, they have like a little pop-up space in there. And
There's
then
a bank.
There's a bank?
Or an ATM and stuff like that.
Oh,
And there's like
yeah,
a little
yeah. And then there's like several
Do we have
different...
an ATM?
Yes. Yes, you do.
And then there's
It's
several...
taken a life of its own. It's actually wonderful. It's gotten to a point where a lot of us don't have to
Maybe
be
we should
there
put that.
and understand what's going on all the time. No, it's perfect. It's great.
But you guys also have like meeting spaces too, right?
Yeah.
So
there's a lunch and learn going on right now. I don't know what it is, but I walked by and I saw a sign for a lunch and learn.
There's a few meeting spaces over there, and I think that's what I love is watching it be anything from government to university to nonprofit. Like everybody can just access that space, and it truly becomes where the community can be.
Yeah, there's been weddings in there.
A lot of weddings,
We did
quinceañeras.
Quinceañeras. There's been award shows over there. I mean, it's a really versatile space.
Yeah, and you have to continue to keep it new.
Yeah.
We've noticed. Otherwise, I think you start to get less reservations. So we have a lot of free events. We do a lot of, I think the CBID.
Yeah.
We don't charge for them to meet there. There's a group of, I think they're orators. They come and they learn how to be public speakers.
Yeah.
They show up, they've kind of picked a day and they show up and they speak in the big room.
Toastmasters.
Yeah. If you don't have new offerings, then it gets old. That's the hardest part about it. And that might be probably the hardest part about the city in general is you have to continue to keep things new, and people will get uninterested.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know all about that.
We work with you guys fairly often, but what I will say, one of the best things about that place is the staff that you have in place.
We have great staff.
You guys have phenomenal staff that I think are willing to partner and find ways to make things work. Obviously, award shows, but the parade. For our NBA champions was here.
That was awesome. Twisted
Cat has been
so cool.
there.
Love it.
I mean, and those are not normal events that you think of where it's like, let me just rent out a space and I'll set a table, set up tables and go.
Cat's a fishing tournament.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
But
big fish.
Yeah, I know. I took some photos last year. I was like, this is awesome.
It is awesome.
But the staff, I think, does such a great job of being willing to think outside the box. And they're like, all right, throw it at us.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Whitney's race is this weekend.
Yeah.
We always wanted it to be a hub for, I think, biking, running, and we always thought a lot of it started off as a biking thing. How do we get people to gather here for a bike ride and then come back and have a beer? Yeah. That was the number one. That's what we wanted. Right. We wanted to have a brewery, and we wanted beer and bikes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And slowly we get to have pieces of that, but all this other stuff kind of came.
Yeah.
There is a monthly event there, Bikes at the Bakery.
Yeah, Bikes at the Bakery.
Yeah.
And Portsmouth Coffee Co. does weekly runs out of there now.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. That's cool.
That is cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Man, there's just so much going on there. It would be hard. I mean, it would be hard to keep track of all of it. One of my favorite spots there, is some of my friends have office space at the mill.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the mill. How did that come about? Because that was kind of like later on in the process, right?
That building was formerly an attorney's office. Before that, it was a plumbing supply building, and it sat vacant while we were doing the bakery. It was just another piece that we always wanted to do something. Right before COVID, we wanted to put in a boutique hotel.
Oh, cool.
but then COVID happened, and that was not obviously going to work. And then co-working, people needing a place to go for, whomever, furloughed employees, people who couldn't go to their office but didn't want to go home. Phil White is our partner in that.
Yeah.
And he's a visionary when it comes to aesthetic, and he's an ideas guy. Yes. So he was a good guy to have on the team to come up with that whole idea and the whole plan. So that we had a concept and decided we wanted to have a really nice office space. And my dad, he ended up picking out a lot of the artwork. We all actually picked out a lot of the artwork. There's a lot of great Arkansas artists on the walls in there. Oh, pretty incredible stuff. But it came about pretty naturally, and hope we can continue to make it last. It's a wonderful place. It's another one of those businesses that you have to keep new and keep coming up with new ideas to keep people coming in the door and keep people renting office space and conference rooms.
One of my favorite things to do is actually to sit out on the patio.
Yeah.
And this time of year in particular, because, the fall air is kind of coming in. It's nice.
It's a good place. It's a good place to hold the NBA trophy. It's a good place to chew on a cigar if you're Danny Baker. It's a good place to... You might have to edit that out.
Yeah.
I think he hides. I think he's hiding up there. I don't know if he wants people to know he's there.
Actually, I know that he doesn't.
Yeah. We had a whiskey club going for a little while.
Yeah.
It was just, I couldn't keep going at 3:00 to have a glass of whiskey on Thursdays or Fridays. I had to go pick up my son instead. Here's another place where the people there continue to make it fun and exciting. Yeah. So we try to have guest speakers come in, professional development, come in and talk.
One of my friends, Kane Bassam, he owns Plus Grand Media, and he has an event there called Cameras and Coffee.
Yeah.
And I think it's once a month. They just get photographers, videographers together, have coffee, and then go for a shoot. Yeah.
It's very cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I love that you guys have kind of allowed mill members to ideate and come up with a lot of that stuff.
He's doing a ping pong a Tuesday night ping pong thing.
Yeah, I know. Tuesday nights where I'm at
he did it
board
once.
meetings.
I don't know if he's going to do it again.
Well,
I hope he does it
He
again.
specifically mentioned you. I talked to him yesterday. He was like, "Yeah, Sam wants us to do it again,
Yeah.
so we're gonna have to do it again."
I love. Yeah, I love it. It's cool.
And I told him, as long as you don't do it on Tuesday, I'm literally busy every Tuesday night. So. But I love that. I love that you're allowing people to explore that space.
Oh, I mean, it's none of these, the mill and the baker, there's really nothing without people doing that.
Yeah.
Our business too, the people that make up the business, if they're not creative and have initiative, it's not going to work.
So you're also on the Parks and Recreation Commission, right?
Yes.
So what does that entail? What does being on the Parks and Recreation Commission mean? I know there are a lot of people in our community, they want to get involved in something, but they have no idea what's available out there. They have no idea what all these different commissions or committees or organizations are. So giving them a little bit of insight, I think would be helpful, because it's really something, I mean, anybody could sign up to do. I mean, you have to be appointed by the board, but anybody can sign up.
I think you just need a pulse to get on. And
That's not true. You're appointed by the board.
Let's not.
You're appointed, but anybody who's interested in their community, and we have really great board members, and I really respect everyone who's on there. It's full of really great people who are very much more engaged than I am. I love parks, and we have over 30 parks in Fort Smith. I couldn't, and I'm ashamed to admit I can't name them all. But I do try to go see them all. And our board, it's an advisory board. We have a great parks department, and they take a lot of our advice and they take a lot of our suggestions to heart, and a lot of them end up becoming rule.
Yeah.
We're using tell them how to use our tax dollars,
Right.
which is a really great honor to be able to make those suggestions and have people listen to you. So I'm totally honored to be on the board. I hope I'm doing a good service while on it. Anybody who does something like that, I think, should be devoting a lot of their attention. I also have another full-time job. So it can be hard to juggle and give as much as I want to it. But I think anybody who wants to do it, who wants to be engaged in the city, they need to go do it. They need to figure out how to do it and go do it. And that's the one great thing about living in Fort Smith. Everybody has a voice.
Yeah. And I don't want to speak for you, but I imagine you and the other commissioners would want to hear from the public on things, ideas that they have for parks, or ways that they want to see things change, or whatever, specifically with parks and your role. But I imagine you guys want to hear from people.
Our group, I think everybody has very good opinions and good initiatives that they want to see progress. We'll get somebody come in, and a lot of times when somebody comes in and speaks to the board, it's highly influential. Just to hear the public come in and say, "This is what we want," it does a lot. You can get tax dollars allocated to, anything. If you put forward the initiative and go tell somebody what you want to do.
Yeah.
And if you can show that there's a need, if you can show there's backing behind it and there's support, you can get tax dollars moved to some initiative.
Yeah. And we have, in Fort Smith, we're really blessed. The voters approved a 1/8 cent sales tax for parks projects.
Yeah, it's huge.
And so that has to go to those capital projects for parks. And so we've had some incredible things happen. The Creekmore Park's almost an entirely new park. They're trying to get the tennis courts redone. It's
incredible.
And then it will be entirely new. Caroline Cross has had a lot of upgrades. Tillis is getting upgraded as we speak. Martin Luther King Jr. Park's been upgraded. So I think about all those projects that you guys have been involved in, like figuring out how these monies are going to be allocated over time, is awesome. But I also I go to many of the Parks Commission meetings, And I've heard people speak, like the skateboarding community.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking about.
The
when I was
tennis
saying
community. They've come out and they've said, hey, we need more shade at the skate park. And so we said, all right, how can we make that happen? Because they do. I mean, they raise great points. Like, yeah, there's not shade out there and it's really hot, you know?
Yeah.
So
I think the dollars that we get, I think it's some of the most well-used dollars that the city has. And you see the results. You see Tillis, which has, I think, one of the coolest little jungle gyms, Caroline Cross.
Yeah.
The new playground, the new boardwalk, which just won an award for, do you know
hard
what it
trail, ARPA Hard Trail Surface or
In
Hard
Arkansas
Trail of the Year. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Sarah Deuster's done an incredible job.
She's awesome.
And she works hard and she really cares about what she's doing. So all that shows. And the parks has been it's been a fun outlet for me from, what I studied in college. Love to be out in nature. And I like to see people using the outdoors in fun ways. So, I think the next big one is Acme. And that's something that I was not, I was on in a group that was probably the fourth or fifth group to want this to happen. This has been something that people long before me have wanted to happen. And we're so lucky that the city saw the opportunity there and decided to go buy it. And we need to get moving on it though.
Yeah.
Otherwise it'll sit there and it's going to look like, like a pile of water slides.
Yeah. Okay.
He said he was going to keep it honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't have a filter.
So what's been your favorite project that you've seen come out during your time with the commission?
Wow. John Bell Jr. It's awesome. I love John Bell because it's a little further out, but it's kind of pushing the limits of where people want to go and the spaces they want to use in Fort Smith. Fort Smith Park, it's a bit of a drive to get over there.
Yeah.
From where I live. It's heavily used though over on the north side of town.
What's really cool is you can start at the river park and you can go, or the skate and bike park or whatever, that area, and you can go all the way along Greg Smith River Trail to Fort Smith Park.
I think the River Trail was a huge one because without that, I don't know if we would have gotten the Marshall's Museum. I don't know. I mean, that was something in the works for a very long time.
Yeah.
But I think the trail helped people get out there and actually see the space. For kids, they want to put a museum out there.
Yeah.
I think the riverfront is going to be, in the next 20 years, my son, he'll be able to enjoy it more, I think, than I will. But I really hope that all gets developed. I love Caroline Cross. I love where it is. I love the pond. I think it's one of the most beautiful parks. I think it's the most beautiful park. I'm biased though.
Yeah. And you can kayak on it. You can rent.
You can
kayaks.
kayak. Yeah, I've done that.
It's pretty neat.
It is. Creekmore is, I think it's the jewel of the city. Just it's right there. There's so much going on there. The train.
Yeah.
The new tunnel, which is cool. They just had a Halloween light show, I think, inside of it. The tennis courts. I love tennis, so I really want to see the tennis community thrive. I wish we could do more there. I would love to see more courts get built, and sometimes I think our board, we're at odds with what everybody wants, and but that's the great thing about it. It's democratic, and more votes gets more dollars.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to Acme and what the city can do with it.
I think Acme and John Bell Jr. are really, blank canvases.
Yeah.
For the possibilities are really endless in both those spaces from a parks and recreation standpoint. Of course, Acme, we purchased it with the hope of also the idea of putting a big detention pond there, but then surrounding it, what could go around that pond? Could it be mountain biking? Could it be food truck park? Could it be commercial? It really could be anything out there, which is awesome. And I know that we're going to need community input going forward too, to see what do people want to see out there, you know?
I think the ability to look at Acme, Kelly Ball Fields, and Creekmore all
Yeah.
in one line. To me, every time I look at it on a map, I'm like, it's almost like our own little central park.
Yeah.
It is.
Because it's in the middle of the city and you get around, but there's just green space right in the middle. And then you see those little restaurants, or you see it like if that happens at Acme, like you see little things where it's like, okay, that's what's driving in the traffic, which is very much a Central Park type
And then
feel.
May Branch Greenway is going to be connecting, I think, from Kelly Park Ball Fields all the way to the riverfront once that's complete, which is just awesome too. You could bike to each
From
one
the
of those
library
spots.
to MLK.
So library to MLK, but I think it eventually will supposed to go all the way to Kelly Park Ball Fields. Now Sarah's going to watch this at some point. Correct me, but going all the way to the river, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
The Bass Reeves Legacy Loop idea.
yeah.
You know, I think things like that could really be totally transformative for a city. It takes a lot of money, and we sure do need to be careful of where we put our dollars right now with the consent decree and all that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different interest groups. Not everybody wants to go take a walk in the park, and you have to be sensitive to that.
Right, but you know, we do have those monies allocated specifically for parks.
Yeah.
So like we can't take the 1/8 cent sales tax and
Correct.
spend it on the consent decree because that's not what the voters decided. So
So you've talked a lot about like projects that are here with work, and I think even with Parks and Rec. Like, what are you hopeful for the city from your standpoint?
I want to see more growth in the city. I would love to see more people my age and younger staying here or moving back. It's great. It's great to leave. It really is. I think I think everybody should go live in another place other than where they grew up, and then come back and bring influences. And so I want to see more reasons for people to want to move back.
yeah,
More jobs, more businesses, more restaurants. I think it creates a happy community where people want to be. I would love to live in a walkable neighborhood. I would love to walk to go to the grocery store. I know not everybody wants that, but I think we're seeing that people are interested in those ideas these days.
yeah, definitely. And I mean, I want to be able to walk to more places too. So I totally get where you're coming from. What do you think? How do you think we get there? I mean, that's a very difficult question.
I don't know,
But,
I have no
yeah.
I've
idea.
been asking this question though, probably for the last week of people.
How do you guys think we get there?
Look, we're not the ones being interviewed. Stop
Yeah.
it.
Well, you guys have talked to more people than I have about this.
Yeah, I think I mean I think it does take community buy-in, and you know, that's partially what I try to do is allow people to not just see the facts, but why this could be important for the city. You know, as projects come to light, like why is a thing like Acme Brick Park? Why? How could this transform the community? And then kind of paint a picture for people, because it's sometimes it's harder to imagine, especially if you've never left Fort Smith. And there's nothing wrong with that by any means. But if you've never left and seen what a transformed space could be, then you don't have the perspective, you know, of what could happen here in Fort Smith.
Yeah.
And not changing culture by any means, but changing what we can do in this space, you know? So like, I don't think we'll ever change Fort Smith culture. And I'm happy about that. I love how welcoming we are. I love how kind of small town it feels. Like that's why I moved back. I don't want that stuff to go away.
Yeah.
But I think you can have that and have amenities. You know what I mean?
And I keep telling people, I think a lot of things change when a bulk of the community gets on the same page. I don't think we necessarily have a strong playbook
Yeah.
to say, like, with resident feedback, with that then gets fed into community leaders. You know, do we put 100+ people in a room and workshop it for 2 days and come out of it with a much better, like, this is actually what the community wants, versus this is what I, as one citizen, thinks needs to happen. And I have the ability in which to make it the loudest voice in the room. So therefore, it feels like that's what needs to happen for the community. I think we're missing that one playbook. And then I think we're missing an opportunity to potentially allow the community to say, if we think it's important, how do we make that happen? And I'm not saying that, obviously taxes and stuff like that, but I look at like Oklahoma City with a MAPS program where they choose to tax themselves to accomplish certain projects, and it comes up for a vote every single time, but the community is bought into that vision.
Why do you think they get bought into that?
I think there's a little bit of that like community pride in we want to be the city of Oklahoma. We don't want Tulsa beating us. We don't want Norman thinking they're better than us. We don't want Edmond thinking. I think there's that. And I think as leadership, they have said, we believe in ourselves enough. Like we want to be forward thinking. We want to leave Oklahoma City better for our children and our children's children. So we're going to make tough decisions now that will impact us 50 years from now. And there's not a hesitancy to respond to an immediate. And that's just in conversations that I've had.
And it's
with
not
leadership
easy.
there. It's not. It's very, very
We've got
difficult.
things we need to take care of, consent decree, streets, things like that need to be taken care of. And so it's a balance. It's a balancing act of how can we do things like that and also encourage people to build amenities and stuff for our residents too. So it's not, I think it can be both and. I don't think it has to be either or. And I think far too often we get in either or thinking like it has to be this or this. And so how do we accomplish both with while gathering as many voices as we can to accomplish those things? So
there, sometimes when you get on social media or you see comments on what's going on in Fort Smith, you'll see a lot of trash out there. Fort Smith sucks. I hate living here. You can be a victim of circumstance, or you can go out and do something about it. And I think unfortunately there's a lot of victims in our world here, and with social media and with media, doing things like this, anybody can get a voice, and even those that are consider themselves victims of whatever, they all get a voice too. And I think we get a lot of that, and it reverberates. And I agree. I think giving everybody a voice, hopefully you get more buy-in. So that's probably one of the biggest hurdles that I see. Voters, you need to go out and sway voters.
Because you typically don't hear from people when they're happy. I mean, realistically,
that's true.
You live in your own world and you're like, hey, I'm good. Like, I don't need to go out and tell everybody I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to keep living my life.
Thinking about the MAPS program, though, Fort Smith, don't we have some of the higher taxes of anyone in Arkansas? Sebastian County?
Yeah,
we've got higher taxes here.
Yeah.
So, convincing people.
And I'm not saying that, but I'm just thinking about from a community buy-in perspective, like that's a group that said, hey, we want this vision.
They'll throw themselves on the sword to have a better life.
And I think people, for instance, the parks tax, I think people have seen the successes. And whenever you have something tangible that you can see from something, then that helps. So, we see the parks being revitalized. So yes, I am all for that because I can go out and experience that myself with my kids. And so as we have more successes, that'll beget more success. And I think we'll get more buy-in over time.
And let's be honest, replacing pipes underground that no one sees
super necessary.
Is super
Yeah.
necessary.
So
but
how do
it's
we
not
paint that
sexy.
picture? But how do we paint that picture for people? Like, let's
trying to
show them
sweat.
progress, and that's what I'm trying to do.
You're
Is
doing a
like,
great job.
Yeah.
how do I show them the progress of those
It's
things
okay,
and the
I think,
importance of those
for
things?
the city and city officials to brag about
Yeah.
these wins. And I don't know if we necessarily do a great job of it. And that's where I think you two specifically, I think come.
I'm not bragging
I'm
about
not saying you don't do a good job. I'm saying we should do more of that. And I'm glad you
Yeah.
guys are here doing that and doing,
Yeah.
things like this.
Yeah.
And you've had great
Trying.
people on this podcast, and people need to not be so humble when it comes to talking about the great things that they've done for the city.
Yeah, this is a great place. I mean, we wouldn't have chosen to come back
Yeah.
if we didn't believe in
It's pretty
Fort
good.
Smith,
It's pretty good.
you know?
It's a great little town.
Yeah.
So we typically ask, just because clearly
yeah.
Discover Fort Smith is a part of this. And you can't say Diggs and you can't say Fort Smith Coffee Company since it's in the bakery.
Oh, any Vietnamese restaurant.
Okay, that's what I was. Okay.
I knew where
like
you're going
it.
with this.
Yeah.
All right.
I love Vietnamese food. I'm gonna say Diamond Head number 2.
Yes. The last
just
round
got
of
so excited.
podcasts. Oh, I love it. We talked about tan extensively in the last
Oh yeah.
podcast.
I could go on and on about 10.
So yeah, I mean, I love that, but not a lot of people have mentioned it until the last month.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We did
But
have a
it's
very
amazing.
extended conversation.
Yeah, I in a past life I probably lived in Vietnam or something. I
Yeah.
love Vietnamese food, Thai food, Las Americas. We go to Las Americas very often
Yeah.
So great.
to go see Robert and Mercedes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Incredible pupusas there. I mean,
pupusas
yeah.
are great.
Yeah.
Yeah. We hit a lot of the restaurants.
That's cool.
Green papaya.
What about with your kids? What are like go-to places with them?
That's a little more difficult. We try to get them outside as much as possible. When we have visitors in town, I like to try to get them out into the woods. And I think Fort Smith is a really good place. It's kind of a gateway for that because, getting out to, Alma, getting out to Alma, it's a 15-minute drive from Fort Smith, 15, 20-minute drive, Lake Alma. Caroline Cross Park is perfect for that. You can get out and not see anybody and go hike around on those trails. Out in our county parks, Ben Guerin is wonderful.
Yeah.
And then down at the end of the Riverwalk, there's the land that the city got from the railroad. There's, I think it's 200 acres of dirt trail. And it needs to be used more. There's wonderful places to get out and go be outside. So I like to do that with the boys, and we like to go ride bikes, and I push them around or pull them around on a little bike cart.
Nice.
We do that a lot.
Nice.
Creekmore. Soccer out at the soccer fields.
Oh yeah, Ben Guerin.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
River Valley.
Yeah.
Yep.
My kids
River
do
Valley
that.
Football
River
Club.
Valley Football Club. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my son is half Brazilian, so it's in his blood, and he better be good according to that side of the family.
Yeah, they have an awesome program out there. Just got a new director of coaching who's doing an amazing job with the coaches out there
Yeah.
too. So
Is he from Barcelona?
he studied in Barcelona.
Okay.
Gosh, I want to say he's from a Scandinavian country,
So he's the
Perfect.
next one that needs to be on the
Perfect.
podcast.
but honestly, I don't know why
actually
I thought
did.
about it until just now.
He'd be good.
But yeah, so I'm excited to see how that program continues to grow out there under his leadership. So
Yeah.
well, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. Yeah, this was awesome.
Thanks for having me. It's fun. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, talk to you soon.